And just like that, we're back. Isn't that crazy how that happens? Bugging you twice today. Amber, she said, I can't wait for this live. I can't either. There's been a lot of updates. And we have a lady backstage that's going to walk us through them all because she is amazing. Single Mama 4. Hello, guys. I'm new here, but can't wait to hear this either. I'm so glad you're here. I saw some new names in here. Hit that sub button. Hit it. Hit it. Give it a like. Unheard, not forgotten. Hello. Sarah, me. Hello. Momo. Hello. Just me. Hello. Jules, what's up, my friend? What's up? Grandma Brooke, good morning. Mama Lioness, we've been emailing back and forth. How are you, my friend? How are you? There's our friend Kevin B. Now, he is in a bad snowstorm, all right? So he was having Wi-Fi problems in the last show. Grandma Brooke, the pic above, should this man and woman care for this child? No. And they're both in jail right now. They're both in jail. I put the trigger warning up because this will trigger you. There's our friend Deb. Let me see. I hope I didn't miss anybody. There's Lisa. Hello. Kathy Herring. Hello. Be a shiner, not a whiner. Hello. Hello. If I miss you, I'm sorry. Fruit Loop. What's going on, my friend? What's up? Tamara. Hello. Maria says, I'm back. You're back. Frankie Hopkins, she said, how's my Okie friend? Doing good, but I am not happy that it is 35 degrees in March. No, I'm not. Hello, Angela Barnett. Hello. Lucia, hello. Laura, hello. There's our girl, Kat. She had us in stitches at the last show. Thank you, Kat. And hello, Michelle. There's DT Driver. While everybody's getting settled in, I'm going to go through some comments from the last show, and then we're going to get to it. I heard that. Amy said it's in the 70s in New Jersey. I heard there was a warm snap up in the Northeast. Not here. No, we must have switched. It was like in the 70s and low 80s last week, which it's going to be back to that tomorrow. So... good. Not tomorrow, I'm sorry, next week. So that's good. All right. Comments. I love your comments. Lisa said, I think there should be some repercussion for that judge. Also, he should have never given that child to that drug addict. I wouldn't be surprised if there is. There seems to be a lot of political and government agency eyes on him. That is for sure. That is for sure. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know that they can really, any criminal charges would be put on him, but something might happen. I don't know, because there's a lot of heat on him. Margaret said, Crystal should not receive 1 penny. She chose a drug lifestyle over being a loving parent and taking care of Harmony. I agree with that. Several people have addiction struggles that they go through and are still able to go through recovery and maintain a household. Let me say it that way. She did go to recovery, and we're going to go through the DCYF report in a little bit, what little bit that the news has given us. And it kind of shows the timeline. And I don't think I'm nitpicking it too much. It looks like all the activism she said she did, they don't really have any report of, but you guys be the judge. I'm not the one. So, hang on. Let's bring our guest up. We also have Kevin B backstage. He's going to weigh in a little bit and talk about the updates in this case. Aaron, how have you been? Aaron. Can you hear us, Aaron? Can you hear us, Aaron? I think Aaron needs to unmute herself. All right, while Aaron is figuring that out, are you there? I thought I heard you for a second. Well, while you're figuring that out, Aaron, I'm going to replay the most recent update from the chief, okay? I'm going to put you backstage while you get connected. Hang on. Hang on.
Chief Alan Oldenburg of the Manchester Police Department. You likely heard about This is Chief Alan Oldenburg of the Manchester Police Department. You likely heard about the disappearance of 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery. This little girl hasn't been seen in 2 years.
According to MPD, the radio station saw a WMUR interview with Chief Oldenburg in January and felt compelled to help.
It was Manchester Radio Group that reached out to us. We've been very fortunate that a lot of people have done so.
The chief says he's never done a PSA in his career, but this case, this situation is extraordinary.
I think this has definitely been a game changer for him for a lot of reasons. One, I doubt he's ever had a missing child on his radar. If so, it would be like a runaway situation, something like that, which is still tragic. To give you a backstory, if you're not familiar with this case, Harmony has not been seen since November of 2019. Now, it was first reported she was seen in October. Okay, so then I'm going to say from her stepmother, Kayla, who is in jail for welfare fraud. Her father is in jail, but not related to her disappearance. I'm going to say from Kayla's mother, I gave her a nickname, Grand Meth. She mentioned a certain timeline, and it wasn't long after that they changed it from October to basically the end of November to about the second week of December. They kind of have it down to 13 days. I think Aaron might be connected. Hello, Aaron.
Hi, can you hear me this time?
Yes, I don't know what was going on.
It was just a different device that was strange, but whatever. As long as it works now, I'm just like, whatever, I'll go to my phone. I think this obviously works better.
Fine by me, my friend. All right, I'm going to get back to this. I don't know if you've seen this video or if you know about the updates in the case or if you've seen the DCYF report yet.
I've read on a lot of this. I haven't seen it personally, but I think I'm up to date. But, you know, I'm always relying on you a little bit for that.
Everybody say hi to Aaron. Kat was already like, hi, Aaron. Hi, Aaron.
Oh, hi, guys. I can't see you because of this phone, but I'm sure Brooks will help me.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. So, yeah, this has been, there's been a lot of updates, Of course, not the update we want that Harmony is alive and well, but there's a lot of moving parts in this case.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's nuts.
Disappointing is a word. I have so much to say.
Oh, yeah, it is disappointing. It is disappointing.
Yeah, I have a whole different perspective than I did last time, I think. But anyway, we'll see. We'll talk about that.
And I cannot wait to hear your perspective. Do you want to give everybody real quick before we get into the show a little bit of your background? I mean, don't give them your name and all that stuff. You are not affiliated with this case at all. So let's get that straight first and on the front burner.
Right. I do not work for DCYF. So there's that. What I do is family therapy, and it's home-based family therapy. And what happens is that DCYF contracts out to these various home-based agencies. And obviously, I'm not going to tell you which one I work for, and then our job is to go in and work with families that are in the court system, at-risk families, and do all of the things that you're seeing. DCYF oversees our work, and we work with them to develop a treatment plan and work with the families, but we're the ones directly in the house. DCYF is also in the house here and there, but more in a case management role. We are the guys that are actually in the house working as therapists with the parents, with the kids, all of that. And then making recommendations, working with guardian ad litems, that kind of thing, to DCYF, to the judges. In that capacity, we're sort of more hands-on than like a DCYF case manager. So really what it's called is a home-based child advocate or a home-based therapist. There's a lot of names for it. So I do not work directly for DCYF, but I'm daily involved with them, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. Makes perfect sense. So,
Yep.
And the fact that you give your time to this channel and wherever else you have to go, because you have a lot of irons in the fire, my hat's off to you. The work you're doing is something I could never do. We've
don't know
talked
how much-
about that before. I couldn't.
I know. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this either. This is so just when I saw what I saw of that report, I am so discouraged and disappointed at this point. And as you know, I was very much like, well, it's red tape, it's the system and all of that. And yeah, I'm upset with the Massachusetts judge. Yeah, I'm upset with Massachusetts. But frankly, I personally, from what I've seen, and granted, I've only seen news stuff, guys. I have no inside information. This was not my client. I don't know this family, none of that. But knowing the state of New Hampshire and what the processes are here and how things are supposed to work, I cannot help but really feel like the blame goes to New Hampshire and to DCYF in New Hampshire. Okay. And I hate saying I want to blame Massachusetts, but I don't think this is Massachusetts' fault from what I've seen. And again, I only have so much of the picture like we all do.
But of course, the parents were the number one failure.
Well, they're like, yeah. But the problem is by the time I get involved, I've already accepted that. Like, right. I'm not so much worried about we're going to blame that initial thing. I'm like, how are we going to fix it and move forward? That's just, if I did that, I'd be angry all the time and I wouldn't be able to work effectively. I've got to go start from, a clean slate. And how are we going to fix this? And they're either going to screw up or they're going to fix it starting now. You know what I mean? So I'm not wired to think that way, but you're absolutely right. At the beginning of all this, I've got a lot of blame smack on Crystal, frankly. I just do. But
now let's explain, because we have some people in here that are new to the case. Adam Teardrop is what I call him. He is the biological father. Crystal is the biological mother. Now, she has quite the story to tell of what she did to try to find harmony. Now, what I was reading, it seems like it wasn't as much as she said, but okay. Kayla is the stepmother. Her and Adam had Harmony. Harmony was in foster care, her and her little brother, Jameson. Jameson is not Adam's son. Jameson was adopted by a very nice family. They wanted to adopt Harmony as well. But by that time, Adam, would you say, was in reunification, involved? How do you say that, Erin?
With Harmony at that point, yeah, it's called reunification.
So adoption was off the table because she had a biological parent that wanted her living with him, sad as it is. And what went down from there was awful. I mean, ill-equipped is too kind of a word to even say.
Yeah. And from what I saw on that last report, it said legal rights with Adam. It did not say anywhere that she lost parental rights or that there was a termination of parental rights. So it makes me even more frustrated with Crystal.
I don't think Crystal's very happy that report came out.
Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't be either because I'm looking at the report going, excuse me, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. First of all, they called you and you didn't call back, but then you're going to come back in January or whatever it was and suddenly have something to say about it.
Mhm.
Like, now we've got to assume that this report is accurate, which at this point, I don't trust anyone that was involved.
In this
But
case, no, it's
in
a
this
lot of
case-
it's a lot of ass covering.
Yes, I don't necessarily trust that. But are you kidding me? You're going to literally not return the phone call? And if he was able to, if somebody came to me and I knew, okay, one parent has no rights, that they've lost all rights. There's no legal right. Like you, Brooks, have as much right to Harmony as Crystal. Okay. And you called me up and said, hey, or somebody, Adam said to me, oh yeah, Harmony's living with Brooks now. I would say, excuse me, hold the phone. No, that's not allowed. That is not a thing. We don't know. That's not, no, she has no legal or any kind of parental rights. That doesn't happen. But no, we're just going to call and say, hey, is it true? Then Crystal doesn't call back and we're just going to drop it forever. And my suspicion is, look at that timing, January 2020. What happened a couple of months later? And believe me, a couple months is not a long time in this line of work when you're juggling 30 cases. I stand by that these guys are swamped over at DCUF.
Mhm.
But the pandemic happens. DCUF offices shut down. I'm telling you, I believe that pandemic is part of why DCUF in New Hampshire got sloppy. People couldn't even access records because remember, guys, it's HIPAA, right? So you can't take files like confidential stuff out of the office. State offices close. Nobody's in there. We're working from home. We can't access. What we've got on our laptops, right? And I bet you, if I had to guess, that this got lost in the shuffle. Okay, Crystal doesn't return the call. This person, whoever is supposed to be following up, is now in a pandemic trying to figure out how the hell she's even doing foster care visits when we've got social distancing and all kinds of rules and visitation centers closed. And the case just fell away. And that's what I think really happened as far as the DCYF end of it. Is it okay? No, it's unacceptable. But that's what I really think happened here. So again, I'm pissed at DCYF and I'm pissed at Crystal. Where were you? Why didn't you go, excuse me, I'm here to call again? Okay, I'll shut up, Brooks.
Nope, you're exactly right. You're taking the words right out of my mouth. So I'm going to finish this video and then we're going to get to the report and you're going to have a field day. And I understand that there's things you can't comment on. Okay.
Yep.
That is out there and, she needs our help. Not just the police department's help, right? She needs the community to rally.
It's been nearly 2 months since that New Year's Eve press conference. Images of the pigtailed, pink spectacled Harmony went worldwide. But now the chief admits, without new information to share, public interest is waning. But not for MPD. There are still 36 officers working the case.
Every day we come in 100% focused on finding Harmony and bringing some closure to this case.
Adam Montgomery had legal and physical custody of his daughter when...
Okay, that's Teardrop, guys. That's Teardrop. Also, he is a suspect in another murder in Lynn, Massachusetts. On the screen, that's Adam, Harmony's biological father, with the teardrop tattoo on his face.
When she vanished. He is in jail on felony assault charges from 2019 on Harmony. The chief says he's had zero contact with Adam.
Wants to sit down and have a discussion with the Manchester Police Department about his daughter, Harmony. We'd be more than happy to do that.
They keep putting up pictures of Crystal with Harmony. I think that's in bad taste. I'm not surprised that the chief, who, by the way, I really like, I think this case has changed his life and changed the focus of his career. It goes without saying. Odd that Adam doesn't want to talk to him. Don't you think, Aaron?
that it's odd Adam doesn't want to talk to him?
I'm being sarcastic.
Okay. I'm like, what?
The
Sorry.
two people they're holding hold the keys to the kingdom, and that is Harmony. They even offered them part of the reward money to tell them something. They said that qualifies. They use that term loosely to tell them what's going on, and then we can have some resolution for Harmony. He's saying right there, they are not cooperating.
There is not enough reward money in the world to get you out of jail after you're found guilty of murder. So
Nope.
that's not even an incentive to them.
Nope.
All my opinions. Just saying. Yeah. No.
Nope. You're reading my mind. I've said it on every show. Any show I do where I discuss the reward, I'm like, look, there might be someone out there that knows something that can come forward and they can claim the reward. But those that really know can't say, because you can't spend that money in the clink.
Well, he knows, his counsel knows how to make that happen.
The tip line remains open and staffed 24 hours a day. 650 tips have come in so far, but the chief says the calls have slowed in recent weeks. That phone number again, 603-203-6060. Live in studio, Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, so he even says his counsel knows how to make that happen. His counsel has told him, you can't say a word because you know too much. That's called self-incrimination. Don't think the chief doesn't know. Don't think the chief doesn't know. All right, so here is a small video real quick that'll kind of catch us up a little bit. The report that came out has to do with the internal investigation that the governor of New Hampshire wanted in regards to how this was mishandled. Did I say that right, Aaron?
Yep, you sure did.
Okay, so I'm going to put that up, and then we're going to go through a news article that highlights it, and we're going to talk about these different scenarios. So bear with me. The replay queen is at it.
States. 5 Investigates has been tracking closely. Our Karen Anderson is here with a report that was just released today on what was actually done to try and find a little girl who was missing in New Hampshire. Details tonight in just a heartbreaking case 5 Investigates has been tracking closely. Our Karen Anderson is here with a report that was just released today on what was actually done to try and find a little girl who was missing in New Hampshire. Karen.
Maria, 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery hasn't been seen since 2019. Her disappearance and how her case was handled are the subject of several investigations in both New Hampshire and here in Massachusetts. Now, this report from the New Hampshire governor's office released today raises questions about what was actually done to find her. New Hampshire child welfare workers discovered in January of 2020 that Harmony was no longer with her father, Adam Montgomery, who was awarded custody by a judge in Massachusetts. Adam Montgomery told them she was with her mother. Caseworkers attempted to reach the girl's mother. They left a voicemail that went unreturned. There is no evidence of any other efforts to contact her. Now, in early 2021, DCYF called the Montgomery home twice, related to Harmony, and they again asked about the little girl. Her father again said she was with her mother and he hadn't seen her. Well, several months later, a friend of Harmony's mother reached out to DCYF to say he hadn't seen her daughter since 2019, and that is when the case went public. There has been intense scrutiny of this case, both in New Hampshire, where Harmony was last seen, and in Massachusetts, where
I don't know what happened, but StreamYard just shut everything down. Is everyone there?
All right, that was you too. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I muted because my dogs were flipping out, but I'm like, man, I'm having terrible luck today. Okay.
I don't know what happened. I mean, we've been trying to do this show for days, and it says posted 5 minutes ago by StreamYard. There's connection issues or something. All right, I'm going to start the video again. Sorry, guys. Not on my end. Can you guys hear okay now, or is the connection still bad? Because it said that this was posted 5 minutes ago by StreamYard, and it said there's connectivity issues. It's not the first time it's happened with StreamYard. Blake said it's still lagging. Let's try it. If not, we'll do it again, okay?
Details tonight in just a heartbreaking case 5 Investigates has been tracking closely. Our Karen Anderson is here with a report that was just released today on what was actually done to try and find a little girl who was missing in New Hampshire. Karen.
Maria, 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery hasn't been seen since 2019. Her disappearance and how her case was handled are the subject of several investigations in both New Hampshire and here in Massachusetts. Now, this report from the New Hampshire governor's office released today raises questions about what was actually done to find her. New Hampshire child welfare workers discovered in January of 2020 that Harmony was no longer with her father, Adam Montgomery, who was awarded custody by a judge in Massachusetts. Adam Montgomery told them she was with her mother. Caseworkers attempted to reach the girl's mother. They left a voicemail that went unreturned. There is no evidence of any other efforts to contact her. Now, in early 2021, DCYF was called to the Montgomery home twice, unrelated to Harmony, and they again asked about the little girl. Her father again said she was with her mother and he hadn't seen her. Well, several months later, a friend of Harmony's mother reached out to DCYF to say she hadn't seen her daughter since 2019, and that is when the case went public. There's been intense scrutiny of this case, both in New Hampshire, where Harmony was last seen, and in Massachusetts, where the juvenile court judge awarded custody of the child to her father, despite his lengthy criminal record. As 5 Investigates has reported, there was no interstate compact put in place. That's something commonly used to establish monitoring and cooperation when custody crosses state lines. Now, today's report also recommended a number of changes to child welfare procedures in New Hampshire. Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery, is currently facing criminal charges for allegedly assaulting the little girl. Her mother's lawyer released a statement tonight saying her focus remains on finding her daughter. In the newsroom, Karen Anderson, 5 Investigates.
Okay, I apologize. I know a lot of people are saying there's a lag in everything. If we have to go back over it, we will. So we have been hearing from Crystal since this became worldwide news that she did everything in her power, but now we hear that phone calls were not returned to her. Now she's the bio mom. Now there is one comment on the screen, Aaron, if you could answer it. Why didn't DCYS or YF knock on mom's door at home? Now, mom,
Because
go ahead.
all right, so once Adam was given custody in Massachusetts by that lovely judge, he went to Manchester, where he's from, which is now New Hampshire, different state. The case became a New Hampshire case. And at that point, DCYF in New Hampshire cannot go to Massachusetts and knock on mom's door. She's working with with New Hampshire. So she, a New Hampshire DCYF person, or maybe it's a he, I don't know, but we're going to assume she calls and says, Crystal, is it true that you have Harmony? Because remember, she's responsible for Harmony. Harmony's a New Hampshire kid, right? So she calls, she's calling Massachusetts, but she's not going to drive to Massachusetts and knock on the door because she's not a Massachusetts DCYF person, which is why people are saying there should have been an interstate contract here. She should have been allowed to go to Massachusetts and knock on that door. Would she have? I don't know. I mean, it concerns me that you called once, got no response, and that's the end of it. So I don't know how diligent this particular worker was, but I also have to give them the benefit of the doubt and say to myself, well, it also, mom lived in Massachusetts. So when you're dealing with two states, this is the exact problem that the governor is saying is a problem. Now, the governor, that's a whole nother story. Like, I know you don't want to throw your state under the bus, but I live in your state and I want it to be Massachusetts' fault too. And I don't think it is. I think the judge was wrong. But once we got this kid, and if only Adam had custody, this kid should have been New Hampshire's problem, period. Not Massachusetts anymore. Whether we wanted this case to be only on us or not, if there was no interstate contract done, then it should have been New Hampshire that followed up. So what should have happened, in my opinion, and again, I'm only working with what I'm seeing, is that, okay, Adam, you don't have her? What do you mean you sent her back to her mother? Her mother doesn't have legal custody. That's a problem. It's fine. You want to try to be really diligent and call just for your own peace of mind. Call Crystal. Okay. Again, I don't know exactly what the legal custody situation was, like if she had parental rights or no rights at all. But we're going to assume she still had parental rights, which is why she was still having visits in theory. We know Adam had legal rights. Fine, call Crystal for your own peace of mind, but you're not done. You're not done. No matter, even if she says, yeah, she's with me, you are not done. You are now picking up the phone and calling a supervisor or whoever you need to call and saying, excuse me, we have a kid in an open case in New Hampshire who is not in New Hampshire with her father. This needs to either reopen it if the case had been closed or go in there for a review. You've got to get someone in there to say, excuse me, you can't decide I don't want to do this anymore and send her back to the mom. You have legal custody. So you and what is her name? Kayla, stepmom,
Kayla.
are responsible for Harmony, period. You can't just send her back to Crystal because you don't feel like it this week. And you're just here for collecting food stamp money. You have to actually parent her in New Hampshire, assuming the case is still open. Now, if the case was completely closed, here's the caveat. If when they went in there and they did their little home visit and they said, we don't see a bruised eye, we don't see any issue. There's that minimum standard of care thing I always talk about that drives me bonkers. And at that point, they may have closed the case officially. And this was sort of just like, yeah, we know of the family. We're sort of keeping an eye on them, but there's no official open case. At that point, it's not DCYF's job per se to follow up anything else. If there's no open case, that's where it gets dropped. Again, I don't know that would be true, but I don't understand what the deal was when Adam got to New Hampshire. And my thinking is the deal was everything got dropped. He got custody, bolted out of Massachusetts because there was no kind of agreement between the states. It was just New Hampshire got brought in, did their little home stuff, got that call later on about the black eye. There is no black eye. Everything looks good. The kids look healthy. Everybody's, everyone can put on a great face for that visit. They know you're coming. Everyone's smiling. Everyone cleaned the house last night. All of that can look good for a day. So if that case doesn't get fully opened back up, yeah, we can write in a report they're at risk of being opened in the future. We'll probably hear from them again. I mean, we see that all the time. But if there's no active case and no active court proceedings going on because reunification has officially reoccurred, like, remember, guys, he had legal custody. So we weren't like in the middle of deciding who will get her. He was given rights to this kid. So when you go in as New Hampshire, a different state, and it all looks good and peachy, yeah, you can know these guys are going to show back up on my radar. But that doesn't mean you have any kind of right to do anything as a DCOF person at that point. So that's my one area where I'm holding out hope that, okay, that was why DCOF didn't follow it up more. Like, they couldn't because there was
no open case.
Right. Everything looked good that day, so they couldn't. So yeah, you're not going to keep following up and pressing it when you've got 30 other cases that are open and you've got, a 3-month review due at court and all that stuff. Yeah, your eyes are open and you're listening for this. And if you see this kid, you're going to quickly open a case. But if there's nothing open, you call, didn't get a call back from Crystal. All right. You're not going to think much about it because it's not an open case. That could be what happened. I would like to think that's what happened in the sense it doesn't give a better outcome. It's still awful, but at least it's not just somebody being completely lazy or negligent. You know what I mean? Like, I want to believe that DCOF is doing their best. Yeah, we make mistakes and we're human, but not just, I don't feel like following it up. Because if that case is open, then they should have said, hey, you can't throw the kid off back at mom. You are the only parent with custody. She doesn't get to have custody anymore.
Right. And what you said really got my brain moving. Okay, so the social worker goes to the house with a report of violence and that she has a black eye. I'm going to assume she talked to Harmony one-on-one.
Right.
She did not see a black eye or have cause for concern because she could have immediately removed her. So then they tried to get a hold of the biological mother who would not return the call. Okay, because here we are way over 2 years later and they still have not had that call back. I don't know what got Crystal fired up in the fall of 2021. But what she has been telling the public via her Facebook page, this report doesn't corroborate. I'm being kind about this. Because we've had a lot of people come in this chat saying, leave Crystal alone. She did everything she could. And I'm like, okay, we'll see when the report comes out. And here comes the report. And I mean, she didn't return a phone call from a social worker. So what are we supposed to do with that information?
Well,
Look, we're not trying to give her the scarlet letter, but you can't publicly get all this sympathy. Supposedly she's suing the system. I have not seen that lawsuit has been filed. I think this report might hurt her because from what I've heard from people that talk to her, she's very upset about this report. You heard her only comment to the news station when they said she did not return the calls. And all she said was her focus is on finding Harmony. Okay, all well and good. But while she was still, in people's eyes, people could see her, you didn't do anything. So if that's your focus now, okay, that's great. What are your thoughts on that, Erin?
Well, I always try to do both sides and give the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. It is possible. This is a person with substance use issues. Okay. Mm-hmm. Number one, she might not have been sober and even have a clue that they called or didn't want to call. She was in a different place mentally. Then, later she's in recovery. She's sober and now she's freaked out. Like, anybody would be like, oh my God, my kid. Like, so there could be that. There could be, they called, but the call, how many times do people change? Especially a lot of people, they'll have track phones, that Walmart phone. They don't have I can't even tell you how many clients, they change their number every 3 days. So it's possible that she never got the call. I don't know if she admitted I got the call and didn't call back. But
she has not. All she said, she won't even answer that question. And yes, she's been asked. All she will say is her focus is finding Harmony. She could easily say, I had a new number. But if your focus is on finding Harmony, when you got that new number, you would have called and say, I have a new number.
Well, yeah, okay, that's a great, I didn't even think of that. Like, wow, good for you. But yeah, well, what I was going to say is that could be the lawyer saying, don't tell any of that. Like, if she is going to sue, that could be something she uses later. And so she's not going to comment on that. So, all right, but you just I'm not defending her anymore. That's it. I'm done. You're right. If you were that determined and every time you got a new number, because it's like that thing I always talk about with my motivated clients, I have clients, I'm like, oh my God, please don't get another phone. Because literally every 3 weeks, they're telling me about their new number. Now, I need them to do it, but I just want them to stop getting new phone numbers because it's like every case note has a different number. It's horrible to try to keep track of what is the current number. So, I always laugh at them like, look, the one thing we're going to work on this week is keeping the same phone number. So, like, we joke about it. And these are clients I have a good relationship with that they're engaged and they're doing well and they're going to get their kids back. In a case like this, like you said, if your kid is missing and you change your number and you're really worried about it, you're going to keep on pestering and like make sure that everyone in that office knows your new number. Trust me, because I do live with that all the time. So you're right. I take back everything I just said to give her the benefit of the doubt.
No,
You're right.
No,
You're right.
you should look at each side of it. That's why I love having you on the show like that, because you can say, nah, we're not just going to sit there and say she did the wrong thing. And of course, then I come back and I'm like, yeah, but if you get a new number and you've got a pressing issue in your life, you're going to give them that number.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's that right there is one of those ways I know when a client's trying and when they're not. And yeah. So okay, so she doesn't even bother to call back. That's lovely. But here she is now, and that's what we're supposed to focus on. Okay, but the problem is, and I don't know if it would change the outcome of how all of this is going to turn out, but you lost 2 years by not returning that phone call, and now you're having a fit about it.
Having a fit, you emailed the mayor, which I guess from the report that is, I got to look at that again. I know some friend of hers spoke out. There's just a lot of holes in the story now. And here's the problem with the world that we live in. People seem to think that everything is judged by the court of social media. So if it's said on social media, it must be true. So if you get a champion like Crystal that comes on and she says, I was calling every week, and it turns out you didn't return calls, and it's an official document ordered by the governor, then they shut up. For some reason, they never think that people are going to find out the truth. It always comes out in the wash, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, that I was shocked when I read that. Of everything in the report, the two things that stood out to me, wow, it's New Hampshire's fault. Again, my opinion, but that's what I thought to myself. As far as the system failing someone, then again, we can really put some real blame on that judge. And I know you always blame the parents first, and I'm with you. I hear that. But I'm just saying, as far as once it got out of the parents' hand and into the system. And then number two was, are you kidding me right now? Bio mom, who's so concerned, didn't return a call. Those are my two things that pissed me off. I was like, okay. It's so messed up. Both of those things. Well, all three, the judge too. But as far as this report, those two things.
That bothered me immensely.
Sounds like you're typing in. Earlier, someone asked me what a guardian ad litem was. So if you want, I'll quickly tell them that.
Well, I was answering a text message. I should have turned my phone off. That's my fault. Okay. It's very rude of me. Yeah,
no,
if you can answer that, and then I'm going to go through the report, but it's only redacted from a news article. I can't read all the jargon in the actual report.
Yeah, I know. And they redacted a lot. And a lot of people are saying it wasn't redacted enough. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like at this point, like confidentiality, yeah, that's fine. But this is a little bit different here. We got to find this kid. Like, it's not the same as when the kid's happy, healthy, and in foster care. You know what I mean? But anyway, a guardian ad litem, it actually works two ways in the state of New Hampshire. And this can be different throughout the country, but I'm just going to talk about New Hampshire. There are two ways. There's either guardian ad litems that are volunteers, like someone said earlier in the chat, and they generally work for CASA, which I've talked about before, is court appointed special advocates. I can't even speak today. And that's a volunteer group that gets training in how to advocate for kids. Their only job is the kid's best interests. They form a relationship with the child. They go into the house. They get to know the family. if the kid's really little, they'll just make a recommendation, an infant up to 4 kind of thing. But once they start being able to talk and stuff, they will, in an age appropriate way, find out what the child wants, where the child's comfortable, who the child is most bonded with. And they look at the home, they look at the school, they look at the siblings, they look at the extended family, the supports, the history of each parent. And then they make recommendations on custody, whether that be for reunification, whether that be for outside placement, whether that be for, living with grandma, or, appointing a temporary guardian. Well, so such and such a parent's in rehab or something. So they make those kind of recommendations to the judge, and they help assist in the child, getting the best possible situation. And then they stay involved sort of after things wind down to make sure that child's okay. It's a great, awesome program.
It's a great, awesome program. And thank you for explaining that. Lisa says, what would someone suggest a bio mom should be doing at this point? Should she just walk away and not look back because she failed this baby girl? Absolutely not. That she needs to be prepared, especially the discovery portion of her lawsuit, that what she put on social media, what she said to news reporters, has been disproven. Some of it, not all of it. And that's one thing she has to be prepared for. Nope, she should keep it on.
Yeah, I don't think anything. I think since that letter to the mayor, she's doing everything she can. I just would like to see accountability for what was done before the mayor. Like, look, in order to grow, you have to admit where you screwed up. And in order to proceed in the best way possible, you've got, and I tell my clients this all the time, look, guys, nobody's perfect. So yeah, some mistakes are bigger than others. But in this case, in my opinion, I would like to see her be fully accountable, not to say, I want to see her say, I didn't call back, guys. I was, using. I wasn't present. But now I am. And this is the thing, because this could be useful. This is the thing that made it get my attention again, that made me more concerned, that made me more determined, that made me more sure that she's still alive. These are the things and the information I have that make me now want to fight every minute that I'm alive to find my baby. That's what I want to see now. I don't think that she's just this like awful person just trying to chase clout and get money or something. I think own it and then move forward and continue to work with authorities, which it sounds like she's doing now. But I don't like that we forgot to mention the part about I didn't call back, and for 2 years I didn't really care. With that said, though, guys, we don't know if she had parental rights or not. And that is really important to this.
That's a question that has not been answered. And I was going to ask you before I forget it. When she came out publicly on Facebook talking about her struggle trying to get all this done, and people were asking her, well, did you call the police? Did you call, DCYF? Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do that? She couldn't say no. And I think when she was answering and trying to give all the right answers, and now it shows that she didn't, she can't go back and say, oh, but I did, because they have records of all that. Do you think that she was maybe, and I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt, she didn't want to tell the truth because she knew it looked bad?
Well, yeah. And also, how does that feel for her? This is where my empathy kicks in. How does it feel to be the mother and know that if you had done things differently, this would not be the result? I could not personally live with that. So, I mean, let's have a heart here. This woman is hurting. And sometimes it's really hard to say, even to ourselves, let alone out loud to the world, I am a huge part of what caused this.
Yeah,
not the cause. So, yeah, I think it did look bad. But I don't even know about looking bad to the world is the number one thing. I think it's facing it yourself is really got to be hard. It's got to be hard. And I think some people wouldn't have come out, period. So I'll give her that credit too. I think some people, because they know they're going to get that heat, might not have come out at all. So there has been a change in her. We have to see that, right? This is someone who just blew off calls to screw this. I don't care what people say about me, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go out there and fight for my kid. That's the giving her the benefit of the doubt angle. And if that's the case, that's growth, that's recovery, that's progress, that's effort, right?
Yep. And that's finally some accountability
So
that
that's
she's
good.
still keeping her face out there, even though she got caught not telling the truth. So I'll give her some credit for that. I will give her some credit for that because she would be the only one doing it. I don't see her parents, aunts, uncles, his parents, anyone else out there doing it. So I'll give her credit for that. So, okay, so you embellished your story about what you've been doing all this time. It was wrong of you to not be trying to do something for Harmony because it's been proven that you weren't doing what you said.
Right.
So you can just continue on, and I mean, she's not going to answer these questions. I'm telling you right now. So let's get to this news article because it blew my mind. Now, the beginning of it is basically what we heard on the video. So you're going to have to help us here, Erin. All right.
We're going to hope. Okay.
Oh no, you're the gal for the job.
Okay.
The report released by the governor's office last week filled in some details. Okay, so July 29th, 2019, DCYF received a call alleging abuse. The caller said Harmony had a black eye when seen in her Guilford Street home the week before. Okay, now why it took a week to call, I don't know. A child protection service worker visited the home that day. So the day they got the call, they went. And then send an email to Manchester police saying they didn't see a black eye. Now, even in a week on a little girl, there would be discoloration. So I don't know. I don't know. That seems to be, this incident seems to be what Adam is in jail for now. Am I wrong?
I mean, I don't know. I would imagine. I don't know. But how could you, here's my thing. How could he be in jail for that now if DCYF and the police went in there and said, no, nothing's wrong? So I don't know. If
That's what I want to know, what this incident is, because he's definitely in jail for abuse on Harmony. So if it's not this incident, what is it? And I don't see this report, and I've read it several times.
Is that the time when the uncle called, supposedly?
I'm assuming it's the uncle, but hey, they could be taking an eyewitness and just assuming that it healed in a week. I don't know. I'm just
well, why didn't they do that then? Why didn't they do that then?
Yeah, I would like to know that too. I mean, but the uncle could have recanted at the time because, he became the White Knight and he came out and even talked to the Daily Mail, who, by the way, I'm not saying he got paid, but the Daily Mail pays for interviews. And again, he told the story about how she got hit by Adam and had a black eye. He doesn't explain why it took him a week to call. That's not something we sit and simmer on. And they were there that day. So they go back. This was July 29th, 2019, guys. Okay? They went back on August 7th. So they were there soon after to do a follow-up. The caseworker returned and did a more detailed assessment, interviewing Harmony's father, Adam, and his wife, Kayla, along with Harmony herself. The caseworker also spoke with Harmony's biological mother, Crystal Sorey, after the August incident. That should say July. Sorey informed the agency she had lost custody of Harmony and Adam Montgomery had full custody. That tells me a lot in that statement. That's kind of I can't do anything for you. There's nothing I can do. Am I misreading that?
kind of. Here's the thing that no one, I want to go to WMUR and be a reporter for the week. No one is asking the right question. A lay person is going to say, I lost custody. They don't know a different term, but there's a massive difference between legal custody, physical custody, and termination of parental rights. And without knowing that, I can't answer anything. If Crystal is going to say, I lost custody, no matter which one of those three things it was, anybody would. A normal thing to say, I lost custody. Now, that looks different in three different situations. I lost custody and he has physical custody, and here and there I visit, is not the same as I lost legal custody, which means you could share physical custody, but one person has more right over legal decisions like where the kid lives, where the kid goes to school, what kind of medical treatments. And then there's a whole nother layer, which is what I'm wondering about, which is I lost parental rights. Any mom that I've ever worked with who has lost parental rights does not say to anyone, again, it's the embarrassment that Just Me said earlier. They don't say I lost parental rights. They say I lost custody, because it's like a gentle way of saying I lost parental rights. No parent that I've ever met wants to say I lost my rights. That is rough, because losing your rights means you don't have any contact ever. You don't get to know about your kid. If you were to call the school and ask about your kid, it's that thing where it would be like you trying to call and ask about Harmony. They'd say, Who the hell are you, Brooks? Get out of here. They would say that to Crystal. And that's what my big hang up is with this whole thing. If she lost parental rights, she can't do much. She's not in any more of a position to help her kid than you would be. And that's why I'm having trouble here. So if she lost rights, she couldn't call, say, Harmony's doctor and say, where is Harmony? How come she hasn't had her eye exam? Because if Adam had informed them, look, she lost rights, I'm the only parent, the doctor can't, they would, it's a liability. They can't give information to Crystal anymore, ever. And that's what I don't understand. And I need a reporter to say, did you lose custody or did you lose rights? Because if all it was I lost custody, look, guys, people get divorced every day and one parent loses custody, or it's shared custody, but losing custody is so common. But losing parental rights is hard to do. You really got to screw up to lose rights.
So she phrased it a certain way. Adam has full custody. And from what I'm gathering, the conversation ended there. But they did reach out to her. Now, would you reach out to someone who had lost all parental rights? There'd be nothing they can do for you. So I'm assuming she must have had some rights.
Right. Well, you would still reach out.
Okay.
I take that back. You'd still need to know, where is this kid? Again, now this goes back to the other thing. Is it an open case or is it just on our radar? If it's an open case, which it must have been, if they went back in there in August, they must have opened a case. So here's what I'm thinking. Between July 29th and August 7th, yes, they said there's nothing here now, but they saw something else, or they got more calls, or they talked to the uncle, or something happened in that week or two stretch there where they said, screw this, we're opening a case. This family's at risk. Let's at least get in there and we'll offer services. It could have been that they went in that home and they said, look, we're going to offer services. We're going to help you with this, this, and this. Kayla's like, ooh, money. Okay, let's do it, Adam. And so they agree to this, right? Because now we're friends with DCUAF. Although most times they're not. Most times they want to slam the door in our face and tell us, go away. When I say us, I don't mean me, DCUAF, but I mean in the system. Go away. It could be that the case was now opened. So she's calling Crystal for that reason. And even if Crystal had lost rights, she's got to have track of Harmony. Even if Crystal's not supposed to have Harmony, she's got to account for where is Harmony. That social worker has to be able to say Harmony's with her mother, which is a whole nother problem. We got to get her back to New Hampshire. So why nothing was done when Crystal didn't return that call? The only thing I can think of is the case wasn't actually opened yet.
I think at that time it wasn't. So we're kind of skipping ahead a little bit. That's okay.
Okay.
Because you know the case, so that's fine. So we're at August 7th, 2019. They call Crystal, and basically she says he has full custody. And that's her statement. I mean, that's what they have in the report. Okay, so obviously at this point, I'm going to say obviously, you tell me if it's not obviously, because October 1st of 2019, a final visit was made to DCYF to the Guilford Street house. The report stated that the children appeared happy and healthy. The assessment concluded that abuse was unfounded, but the family was at high risk for future child welfare concerns. A letter advised the Montgomery family about support services such as housing assistance. This is the visit where they found out they didn't have electricity and they were using a generator. Now, mind you, they were also about to, they were in the eviction process. All right. I'm going to say that the reason the first time we heard about Harmony and they said that she's been missing since October is because that's when DCYF saw her. But then Grandmeth gave her synopsis that narrowed it down to 13 days, which was between November 30th, and then she said December 6th, but they gave it a few more days. Does that make sense?
Yes, but check this out. So
Okay.
this is interesting. I don't know what it's going to tell us, but you should know this and you can tell me. August, September, October. DCYF works in 3 months. Okay. You have a 3-month report. You have a 6-month check-in. You have a 9-month review. At the year mark, you make a recommendation on reunification or termination of rights. The fact that it's a 3-month and they closed it out tells me that was an open case, which is why they had to account for where is Harmony back then. And Harmony was in the home, right? I mean, she was with them. That black eye wasn't a big deal. Those guys followed the treatment plan for 3 months, did what they were told, declined further services. Case got closed in October. That's what that 3 month is telling me. That's telling me that a case was opened. It was open for 3 months and they shut it down. So it never made it to the 6-month review. Common.
Okay, so now I'm getting to the next one, and what you said is going to help explain this, okay?
Yep.
So they were there in October of 2019.
Right.
January 8th, 2020, a new referral was made to DCYF about the Montgomery household. A caseworker asked about Harmony and was told she now lives with her mother in Massachusetts. DCYF left a voicemail for Sori to confirm Harmony was living with her, but Sori didn't return the call, according to the report. All right, so October, November, December, January. So that's 3 months. That would have been the 6-month mark from July, correct?
Yes, but I get it. I get it. I'm so happy you did this. Okay, I think I have answers. So they go in there, right?
You know me, girl. You know me.
Check it out. I think I know what's going on. Just because it's these 3-month windows. So they go in, they get the first call. The kid doesn't have a black eye. What are they supposed to do? Everything looks good. These guys clean the house. They have to follow this for 3 months. It's an open case, but it's not like officially in the courts, right? They're watching it. They're doing their job. Look, they got in there in 24 hours. They're doing great. Like A+ DCYF. It's not their fault that they can't see a black eye. We can't be mad about that, right? So
Right.
3 months happens. They, as we always do, any need they see that they don't like me with that tarp for a door or a generator or whatever, they're gonna push. They're gonna try to keep them like, listen, guys, you're on the edge here. Minimum standard of care is this generator thing. Yeah, you can get away with it, but let's get you on a subsidized housing list, whatever. If the family declines services and there's no signs of abuse, case is closed. So now the case closes, say mid-October. Okay, great. We got them off our backs. That's lovely. Get them out of here. Don't ever let them come back again. On with their life they live. Fast forward, we're at Thanksgiving at Grandmess. That's lovely. We're getting evicted, whatever. But we don't want DCOF in our business because they're the system and get them away from us. A new call comes in January. Guess what, Brooks? The case is not opened. It's not a, hey, black eye situation. It's a, where is she situation, but New Hampshire doesn't have an open case. So the DCUAF lady is just trying to like be responsible. She's aware of the family. She feels like, man, what the hell? Calls Crystal, like, do you really have her? But because there's no case open, she can't do more. There's no new abuse report filed. And that's
And
what I
from
think
what
happened.
I've been reading, Crystal was not legally obligated to return that call because there was not a case open with her. She could have
Right.
been happily just babysitting Harmony and working on something else and didn't have to answer.
Absolutely. It's not even the
Now,
same
I
state.
believe she didn't get that call, and I believe the phone call was made. I believe at that point, Crystal had other stuff going on and just thought, oh, it sorted itself out type of thing.
Yeah, like whatever she's doing, I mean, that's whatever, only she knows. But that's what I think. I think they had it open for 3 months. During that 3-month time, they did all the work they're supposed to do, followed all the rules, and there's nothing more to do because Kayla and Adam knew how to play that system and got through that 3 months. Look, this is a guy who managed to get custody of his kid with like suspicion of murder stuff hanging over him. This guy clearly knows how to like get judges and people to think he's a wonderful guy. I don't know how, but seriously, they obviously know how to play the system a little bit here.
Yeah.
So if there's no open case, New Hampshire cannot do more. See, I'm feeling a little better about New Hampshire right now, but they can't do more if there's no open case. And
No.
Crystal, like you said, New Hampshire's not in charge of Crystal. Crystal lives in Mass. So they can't make her answer the call. They can't show up at her house and bang down her door. It's not even an open case. At that point, DCOF would be in trouble for like stalking people.
Overstepping their bounds.
Yeah, overstep. Yes, stalking's not right. But yeah, overstepping. Like you can only go so far. And remember, you've also got 30 people in front of you that need active daily services that have open cases. So I don't even feel as upset with DCUAF now with that time frame. And that 3-month thing is what's telling me that had to be what happened. It wouldn't have been. They followed Brooks to the letter. 24 hours they were in that house. A week later, follow up. This is literally, they followed the exact schedule that they're supposed to. So that why would they suddenly have stopped following it? What happened is in October, that family declined more services and they didn't have enough to open a formal case. And then that's,
If what I'm reading is true, you can't make them take services.
you can't make them take services. So there's no more options. And this is where we go back to your favorite thing, which is it's the damn parents' fault. Because in this case, Adam and what's her name there? Stepmom, Kayla, if they had wanted,
Step meth.
Yeah,
She has a
step
new
meth.
name. We have teardrop, step meth, and grand meth.
oh, perfect. But they declined services. So if they had really wanted help and really thought, no, they wanted DCOF the hell out of their life because they're probably were using currently at that time and didn't want to get nailed for that and lose custody, which would mean losing food stamps. I mean, look, can we just be honest? And then Brooks, 3 kids she has with him, which I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 5 kids altogether. Obviously, Jameson was already free at this point, but you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot. The
Now,
chaos.
do you mean Kayla and Adam have 3 kids together? Because
Yes.
Okay, because Jameson is Crystal's son, not Adam's.
I'm just saying there's 5 kids in this whole, like, obviously,
Nightmare.
thank God
Nightmare.
Jameson is where he is. But that was still 4 kids that Kayla and Adam had in that house when DCOF walked in, although I think that baby wasn't born yet, but at least 3 kids. When they walked in to do that initial home visit, 3 kids were in that house and they saw nothing wrong. Except for, you guys probably need better housing. If your concern is housing, you're not seeing abuse. Because I'm not looking at housing nearly as fast as I'm looking at actual, like, physical or SA or those kind of things. I mean,
Right.
looking at housing, you have to look at housing, but the state allows so much for housing that it's like you're not going to get far with housing.
Oh, I agree. I'm going to answer this question from Lisa. So if they never made the one phone call that BioMom didn't return, wouldn't have made a difference because the case is closed. If she would have called back and said, Harmony is not with me, then things would have gotten rolling back in January of 2020 as opposed to December of 2021. All they needed was her affirmation, she isn't with me, and things would have gotten rolling then. They would not have ignored that because he clearly lied and said she's with her mother. Whether it's she has custody now or she's watching her for me, whatever his excuse was, it's the same one he's used the entire time. If Crystal would have returned the call and made some communication or followed up with them instead of waiting until, well, we're going to get to that in a second. If she would have told them then, no, she's not with me, then the ball would have gotten rolling. She probably would have been reported missing in January of 2020 because we know now, well, not for certain, Kayla and Adam could not produce her. Yeah, that things would have been a lot different. But here we are. Okay, so between January 8th of 2020 and then November 18th of 2021, okay, 2 totally separate years. So this isn't from January of 2020 to November of 2020. This is like another almost 2 years, believe it or not. Sori sounded the alarm, calling police about not seeing Harmony for more than a year and a half. Now, mind you, she didn't return a phone call, okay? Manchester police said their phone records indicate that was the only call the department received from her. Okay, so part of this investigation, I'm reading a little too much in this maybe, so tell me if I am, is to debunk her lawsuit. Because they've got, every time you call the police, I don't care if you're like, oh, I accidentally called this number, on accident. It's still in there. So they know how many times she's called. So what she's been saying, throw it out the window. We start from new with Crystal going forward. Anyway, it says right there. It says that's the only phone call they got from her. Okay. So that's November 18th of 2021. December 27th, 2021. All right. Just a couple months ago. DCYF notified Manchester police that the agency was unable to locate Harmony. Police worked to track down Adam Montgomery, who still had legal custody of her. Here we have yet another problem. Am I making sense, Aaron?
Yeah, you're making. I'm not really sure what the question. I think because you are making sense. There's no right. I'm with you. Everything you've just said.
Okay, there's the governor. A court jumped in and made the decision to give full custody of Harmony to this monstrous individual. Yep, they did. Okay, so on the 29th, Sori, that's Crystal, sent a letter to Manchester Mayor Joyce Craig begging for her to locate her daughter. Detectives, now it didn't take them long. It took them like 2 days because Adam was having a New Year's Eve party in the car he's living in. Teardrop. December 31st, living in his car with his new girlfriend. See, him and Kayla are on the outs. Wonder why. Investigators said he was uncooperative, refusing to provide any information about where Harmony is. Police also interviewed his estranged wife, Kayla Montgomery, that day. Odd. Very odd about this situation. Kayla is the estranged wife. Okay. Kayla is in jail for welfare fraud because she has still been receiving benefits for Harmony. Kayla will not turn against Adam. Why not, Kayla? Why not, Step Meth? Step Meth, what's wrong with you? Why don't you turn against Adam? Unless you are involved or you have guilty knowledge you know you're going to go down for. The prosecutor said the last time you were in court, she won't talk because she knows that we're about to find out. That should be enough to make Step Meth shit her britches till she dies. All right, so that's December 29th. That's when they got the email. Court documents help provide context from when Harmony was in New Hampshire in 2019. I go back to what Grandmeth said. She was very specific about the timeline between November 30th and December 6th. After she said that to a news reporter, they did change the timeline. Remember that, Aaron?
Yes. Yep. Sure do.
All right. Kayla Montgomery said that in November or December 2019, Adam Montgomery told her he was taking Harmony to Lowell, Massachusetts to live with her mother, Kayla. To live with her mother, sorry, period. Her mother's Crystal. Kayla Montgomery told police she hadn't seen or heard about Harmony since. Okay. But in the meantime, you're getting government benefits for Harmony. Now, you know, if she's living with her mother would be getting these. We all have one Social Security number, which has to be provided to get benefits. Now, that is one thing that is traced across all states. Sorry, it's eventually caught up with. Aldenberg said, one way or another, whatever the outcome may be, we want to bring it to a resolution. So that is basically the meat and potatoes of the report. And it kind of seems that Crystal's kind of doing a social media CYA because she knows that it's come out now that she didn't do half of the things she claimed to do. And in the meantime, she's going to have a problem with her lawsuit, is what it looks like to me. But tomorrow's a new day. What do you think, Aaron?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't even know why the lawsuit is a thing right now.
It hasn't even been filed.
Well, I don't even know why it's like, if I was the mom, I don't give a shit about who's responsible. I want my kid back. Period. I'll worry about responsible when I know where my kid is. I just, that bothers me too. Why do you even care about that, Crystal? Right now?
Yeah, you use semantics when they called you. You give them the answer, he has full custody. You're not concerned that DCYF is involved. Then they call you back. You don't answer or return the call, even though they had called you before. So you knew something was up.
My guess is she doesn't trust DCYF, and why would she? She feels, I'm guessing, that they took her kid away. They gave her to a monster, blah, blah, blah. And she's right about some of that. But, you know, she's not taking accountability for why they took your kid away. But regardless, so she doesn't trust them. So what she should have done, I don't care if she lived in Massachusetts, Florida, California, or Canada. I don't care. She should have called the police. You don't trust DCYF? You don't know where your kid is? Why aren't you doing a missing persons report? Adam doesn't have her. I haven't seen her. Or maybe Adam does have her, but he won't let me talk to her. And supposedly I'm allowed to talk to her if it's just a custody loss and not a loss of parental rights. So I would like you to go deal with New Hampshire and have my kid call me. She should have called the cops back in November of 2019. And worrying about who the hell is responsible and when they're responsible and why they're responsible is not a thing right now. When we have resolution, then you worry about your lawsuit. And
Right.
That's why I'm frustrated with her.
Well, and now we have an official report from the governor's office. It's not like some low-level court clerk put this together. This is from the governor's office. They know the phone calls, they know the visits, they know everything. It's still 150,000% bad. Bad. And to answer Lisa, I was throwing shade at Kayla, i.e. stepmeth. She said if BioMom had a job, then she wouldn't qualify for food. Well, she doesn't. She's been in recovery. And nobody wouldn't have known stepmom was collecting. No, if she had custody of Harmony, which she wouldn't have, that would have had to have been granted by a judge. She would have been getting food stamps for Harmony. But if she had returned that call, things would be different. And I do believe that Crystal is feeling extreme regret, remorse, and guilt.
But if you're feeling extreme regret, remorse, and guilt, say that. That should be. Look, I effed up. I would have all the blame on myself as the mom. I'm sorry, but I would. I would truly look. My kid breaks an arm on a skateboard ramp, and I'm literally blaming myself for that.
Me too. My
So-
kids are grown adults. If they do something to themselves, I'm like, oh my God, I should have been there. It's like, well,
Yeah.
we don't live together.
I know I'm the same way. Mine are in their 20s, and I just am like, every normal, natural young adult mistake they make, I blame me, even though I have nothing to do with it. I can't help the kid was speeding, but he was, and maybe I should have taught him to drive better, right? As a
Right.
mom, you naturally blame yourself for everything, right?
Sure.
She's
We
not
all-
naturally. If guilt is what she's feeling and obviously embarrassment, but the number one thing should be, I failed this kid. I did. Not worrying about blaming DCYF, the judge, all the other people. Not suing right now. Don't take away resources to try to build a lawsuit. Every minute that you're talking to your lawyer, you're not doing something to find this kid. I just stop.
Exactly.
Oh.
And on that note, I have a feeling that the attorney has told her what to say because he's going to find some angle for this lawsuit. It is big money, one way or another. There is an advocate. I'm going to put her, she calls herself an advocate, and put her video up in a second. And I think at this point, Crystal has open mouth and inserted foot and lied too many times. And she cannot come out now and say, I feel guilty, remorseful, I messed up, because that lawsuit is done. And he's already done a lot of work on it.
But that's my problem too, though, is that by having this lawsuit, Crystal, you're actually hurting Harmony again.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not able to be transparent, because now you've got this lawyer telling you, see, a mom that is truly remorseful, truly wants this resolved, truly wants to do the right thing, is not worried about what her damn attorney is telling her to say. That's hurting Harmony more.
Exactly.
You drop the stupid thing for now. Put it on hold. I don't care. What do you need money for? You need your kid back, or you at least need to know what's happening or happened. Stop wasting resources and time and then getting yourself censored. Own what you did wrong, own your role in it, and do the right thing going forward. Period. I'm so sick of parents that will not take the accountability for where they screwed up. People screw up. The best thing you can do is admit that and stop screwing up. And when you go and I can't tell that, or I got to say it like this, or CYA, or I'm embarrassed, or I don't want to face it myself.
Or I've got I can't admit that I made all this stuff up to look good to my Facebook followers. Because she made herself out to look like some kind of champion. I've had people in here, you know it, because you've been on panel, when they're in there and they're like, no, she did. She told me. The report comes out and they're like, that's the only phone call we had. The phone call we made to her, she would not return.
Stop telling social media. Start telling the police. Social media is not law enforcement. And if you're going to use social media,
they'll never understand it. We have another case we go through, and the parents that are suspects in the disappearance of their daughter, they think all of this weighs on what they tell YouTubers. I'm not going to lie. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. And Crystal seems to have adopted the same psychology.
yeah, it's sad. I want to believe that her heart's in the right place. She's really trying. And I think there's a big part of that is true. But you know what? You got to go the full way here. Not 60%, 100% in. You focus on Harmony, not a lawyer, not a lawsuit, not who's to blame. Worry about that crap later. Right now, it should be Harmony and only Harmony, period. Otherwise, you're still hurting Harmony. And that is what I'm frustrated with as far as her.
Me too. I'm going to put this video up because I'm going to see if you can help us decipher this again.
God, let's pray for us all. I don't know.
All right. It's on the screen. Hopefully, if I did it right. Yep, there it is. So, the Office of the Child Advocate raises concerns over information that was put out in the governor's report. Listen to what she says.
Office of the Child Advocate says she has concerns over what was released in this report regarding the case of missing 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery.
It's very clearly that there's case information that's been exposed here.
That case information involves certain details regarding the Montgomery family that O'Neill says violates federal laws that establish the confidentiality of child protection records.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Now, there's a lot in this report, and I'm not going to lie. CPS comes up in a lot of cases, a lot of them. And we've never seen a report this detailed publicly. So what she's saying is releasing this report that came from the governor's office violates federal laws.
Okay.
So I would think that somebody around the governor's mansion knows something about federal laws, but I mean, let's see what she says.
I mean, if you ask me a direct question, I got opinions on this, but I'm not sure what you're asking.
Yeah, I can't figure it out because if the governor's office, they would have gotten an opinion from someone. Can we release this, and this? I don't think what we have is the full Monty, if you know what I mean. She's fired up about this, so let's see.
This is why there are confidentiality laws. It's to protect children and parents, and to be able to bring them into the system with trust so that we can help them be better parents and children be safe.
O'Neill says there may be financial ramifications if New Hampshire is found to be in violation of the laws, including hefty fines.
But in fact, the federal money that's involved here is the money that pays for 1,700 children who are in foster care or in very expensive residential care, where we're trying to help them.
What she is saying is with this governor's report coming out, federal money that goes to the state of New Hampshire can be stopped. I don't think they would do that over a report that came out exposing what happened to Harmony. I don't think I'm phrasing it right. Can you help me here, Aaron?
Yep. Well, first of all, New Hampshire is we have a Republican governor, and New Hampshire's state motto is "Live Free or Die," and New Hampshire is known for they're very state laws. Yeah, we're listening. We understand there's federal laws and all that, but this is a governor who is, I don't even know how to, basically, I'm not surprised. He's going to say, look, this is not the typical CPS case. I know that I saw in another report that the governor's office ran it through, I think it was the Department of Justice in New Hampshire, but they've run it through people before this report was released. They ran it through their own people at the state level who are aware of the federal laws. And my guess is that obviously they knew this could be an issue. And my guess is that the governor's office believes that they redacted enough information where they're riding that line. Yeah, maybe, but for a good cause here. I mean, I don't think what is in that. I mean, I haven't read the report, but what is really going to be in that report that hasn't already been all over the news? We know Harmony's name. I mean, you know what I mean? This is already public anyway. It's not like there's some kid that was SA'd and nobody knew their name and suddenly it's up. Look at the Duggars. I mean, that their names came out. Yeah, it was redacted, but they didn't lose federal funding down there. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be an issue. I don't agree with this advocate. I think I get her point. I think you always want to worry about funding, but this is not your typical CPS case. Nobody walked into DCYF, grabbed, a case out of the F file and decided, let's talk about Frankie and his family down in Nashua. This is a case that's in the national news.
Mm-hmm.
A serious situation about a kid that's been missing for 2 years. The only legal parent that we know of is already in jail and facing public charges for it.
Yep.
So I don't see a problem. I have to agree with Sununu on this.
I agree with him 100%. I think he pulled the trigger and he pulled it in the right direction. And he's getting this, he's being transparent and getting it out there. He knew that there was a very good chance it was going to come out that it was the New Hampshire CPS that failed. He knew it.
I have to admit, because I don't always agree with him, and I have to admit that even though I don't always agree with him, I think he's doing the damn best he can with this case. He's in a horrible position. What is he supposed to do? It's not like he can control what happens every day at DCYF. And it's, falling on him. And then, of course, Massachusetts, like, whose fault is it? And everyone wants to blame everyone else. I mean, I don't even work for DCYF and I want to blame Mass, but I can't. So I feel kind of like in the same situation as him. Like, yeah, I guess it was New Hampshire. And I like that he's not saying that, obviously. But I do like that there's transparency here, because with that, it's that accountability. Okay, New Hampshire may have screwed up. So let's admit everything we know, be transparent, and move forward, make change so that other kids don't end up in the same boat. That is way better than let's just ignore it for 2 years, pretend it's not happening, and place blame on everyone else, aka what Crystal did, in my opinion, allegedly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that way, I admire how he's handling this. And I think there'd be a real good fight about losing federal funding when you're trying to improve a system that is inherently flawed and broken over a case that's already public anyway. What are you giving that's confidential? They haven't really told us anything. I mean, we don't even know if she lost parental rights. Does anyone see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and she's an adult. She's over 18. This woman's referring to basically like private things going on in the house, and she say nobody will come to them. How many people really come to DCYF for help?
No, okay, that's court ordered. Most people don't.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And
Right.
like Just Me said, how can we fix the issue if the facts aren't out there? Do better. And also, he could be putting the heat on the federal system. I'm just saying it's conversation. I don't know the governor or what he's thinking to make DCYF, or as we call it here, DHS, a federal system across the United States where every state is in communication for what's going on. So when you call Crystal in Massachusetts from New Hampshire and she doesn't return the call, you have the legal rights to get a case open in another state. We could be leaning towards that.
Well, we have that, and that's what he's frustrated with. We have that in the sense of these state compacts. We do have that, but because that was never put in place by Mr. Judge in Massachusetts, that's where problems started. If that had been there, this might have gone differently too. But that wasn't put in place for some reason, which I don't understand. The only guess I have there is the case was closed in Mass. Adam comes here, clean slate. There's no open case. And it wasn't until that August or July 29th call that they got on New Hampshire's radar. And at that point, that makes sense to me. But why the judge would have closed that, not made him do follow-up with New Hampshire, is a mistake as well. I don't know what Adam said to that judge in Massachusetts to get him to be like, it's all good now. We're going to just walk away and have a happy ending with this kid. I don't know what
and then run off to another state.
Right. Like, hello. I don't even think it's that weird that he ran to another state, because that's where his roots are, and people tend to go, back to their hometown.
They go back home.
They have supports and stuff. I mean, that's normal. But so that's not even a red flag for me, but it is a red flag. Like, hello, did we care about the background check on this guy? Did we not worry about the New Hampshire situation with the rest area guy and all that accusation? Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. Somebody didn't do their due diligence at all. And I don't know if it's the caseworker or the social worker when they gave the file to the judge didn't have everything in there, because he's not going to do his own homework. He's
No,
got
the
to
judge
go with
doesn't
what he
do that.
sees.
That judge, and I would assume, I know Massachusetts works similar to New Hampshire, got a recommendation from either a guardian ad litem, and in their case, it would probably be court appointed, so it's probably a volunteer person, DCYF, and a case manager person like me that worked with the family that said Adam should get custody. And the judge signed it. And whoever made that recommendation, wow. But you're right. The judge doesn't go around and research the background and do all that. That's no way. They're there to make the rulings and read the law, and God knows what was going on in that court. But that's Massachusetts. And again, I mean, there's like 3 steps of failure: the step with the parents, the step with Massachusetts, and then the final step was this New Hampshire thing. And I blame New Hampshire for the 2-year gap. That's what I blame New Hampshire for. And Crystal, obviously.
Yeah, what's getting me going with Crystal is, demanding respect all over the internet for all the work she's been doing since she FaceTimed Harmony Easter of 2019 and to where we are now. And we find out that they made a call to her. They reached out to her. Okay. They reached out to her and alerted her to where she said, I don't know. I don't have full custody. Then they called her again to where she didn't return the call. To when she does call in November of 2021, and they said it's the only call they had from her. But that's not what she's been saying to everyone. And now she says all she's focused on is finding Harmony. That is all well and good, but you can't unring a bell because this is what you've been saying to everyone.
Yeah, how do you hold on to an Easter basket for 2 years, Brooks?
Yeah.
I mean, Christmas.
Not to mention, you had Easter of 2020 and Easter of 2021. We haven't heard about those Easter baskets, have we?
What about the kid's birthday? What about Christmas? What about actual Thanksgiving? If it was not a loss of parental rights and you still were allowed to visit your kid, didn't you say, hey, Adam, I haven't seen Harmony all summer. I'd like to take her up to the campground or the amusement park or the whatever. Could I see her for the day? I mean, is that maybe he's just terrible and he blocks her and okay, fine. But eventually we'll give her a lot of time with this. Say Christmas, when you can't get a hold of your kid to say Merry Christmas, why aren't you calling the police and saying, look, it's been since Easter. This guy's blocked me. Yes, he has custody, but I mean, I have had no visitations, no nothing. Like, that's another thing I want to know. Was there a visitation agreement between them? Were those two ever married or were they not married? You know?
I have not found that they were married at all, and I cannot find that she lost any parental rights. She used a certain term, full custody. If she had lost her parental rights, she wouldn't have been part. She was able, now this is according to her, to go to the meetings at CPS. And we discussed this before, or at DCYF. She might have just wanted to have Harmony adopted with Jameson. We don't know what's going on in her head at the time. She was in recovery, still is, and everything like that. But once she knew that Adam had custody of her, I would think that would have been a game changer for her, because her herself has been very open and honest about how abusive he is. Now, if you can be abusive to a grown woman, what makes a child any different?
Well, nothing. But what I don't understand is when you assign full custody, you also have to do a visitation agreement. It's not just he has full custody. See you later, Mom. Hope you catch her when she's 18. A judge is going to say, you have full custody. Mom gets 2 weeks in the summer and every other weekend or
right.
whatever.
And
they
that's
have to,
something she will not address.
so that's a problem. Why, as the mom, didn't you say, Your Honor, okay, you're giving him full custody, but I want visitations? Any parent who has legal rights has a legal right in every state to have visitation with their child. Hell, parents have that right when the kid's in foster care.
Yep.
It is not until rights are terminated that they lose the right of visitation. Maybe it would have been supervised visits, maybe, because she wasn't sober or something, but she still would have had a right to visitation. So the second that first visitation didn't happen, then maybe you do another one. All right, they didn't show up. He made an excuse. But now you are flipping out and calling people to say, look, he's not letting me have my visits. And she won't talk about any of that. That's where I really struggle with her.
I do too. And in most arrangements, when it's like, this is your visitation, Wednesday nights and every other weekend, and you realize it's been a month and there's one excuse after another, you raise holy hell. Well, she didn't. She was happy with her FaceTime Easter of 2019. And when she was contacted by DCYF, she said, oh, he has full custody. I'm just reading the report. She's not here. If she wants to come on panel and explain, she's more than welcome to. I'm not going to beat her up, and everyone in here will be respectful. I would like to hear her side of the story. I have a feeling we're never going to get it. And that's okay. That's okay, because more is going to come out. And then they called her when they had more serious concerns, they were talking about these services that they wanted them to get and everything. And basically they wanted her to be aware, but also when he says Harmony is with her and they try to call her. Now, I'm assuming that their voicemail was pretty detailed. It wasn't like, hey girl, call me. It's been a while. I'm sure they're like, we're calling to verify that Harmony is with you. Now, like you said, she could have changed phone numbers. So obviously this was out of sight, out of mind. This wasn't something for her to get her new phone number, assuming she got a new one. I don't know. And she didn't follow up on it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Too many balls were dropped in this game. Way too many. American Girl. I hit sent prematurely. I know all this is being talked about. I have thrown out a few thoughts, but no one says anything, not trying to be rude. I've been seeing it. I called out one of your comments. You are more than welcome here. You're more than welcome here. Does that make sense what I just said, Aaron? Because I have so many frustrations in this case, and it's not just all with DCYF.
Oh no, it's not all with DCYF. There's so many layers to this. It's ridiculous. And honestly, I think all of this, if we could get Crystal to stop worrying about who's to blame and all that, and tell every single thing she knows, admit where look, I didn't want to look bad on social media. I was embarrassed. Maybe I wanted to draw more attention to it. So I needed to seem more dramatic, like I'd been blown off more. Whatever her reasons were for handling it the way she did. Who cares? Who cares? Crystal, who cares? The truth is going to help Harmony.
The truth is going to help Harmony. And if you tell the full truth, I FaceTimed her in April, if that happened with her Easter basket. No, I didn't call them back. Yes, I received this call. This is pertinent information, and you saying that you've been calling all this time and nobody would help you, that muddied the water and has slowed down the process, whether she wants to understand that or not.
Right. And I think all you can do, instead of, like you said, it's not a matter of like, okay, let's beat up on Crystal. But if Crystal could get one message in her head, is that if you would just start right now, I'm done with this. Listen to, don't say that because the lawyer, that'll jeopardize my case. Who cares about the case? At the end of the day, what are the odds that the money's going to go to Crystal anyway? Come on. But regardless,
exactly. I think they're going to go to Jameson. And on top of that, if the case is good, the case is good. But if you have been lying
Yeah.
this whole time about your advocacy for your daughter, you do not have a snowball's chance in Ecuador.
And honestly, who cares about the money at all? Let's care about making the system better. Let's take that damn money and put it into the system to make it better. Let's care about helping other kids. Let's something. But look, like making ourselves look good and worrying about our reputation now, it's too late for that. Let's not worry about how we look. Let's worry about doing the right thing and helping Harmony, however that looks, whether it's get her home, whether it's just get closure. It's the truth is going to get us there faster. We've already lost 2 years. 2 years. That's enough. I don't know what American Girl. I have been scrolling for American Girl only because I'm trying to see. I thought maybe she was trying to say she knew the answers as far as Crystal's custody situation, but I don't think so. It doesn't look like that.
Well, let's go through this video, and I'm going to drop the link. And if American Girl wants to come up, if she knows something, it's got to be something that we can say publicly. If it's something that, if you know Crystal and she's told you, then that would be a problem putting it on here. So do you know Crystal, American Girl? Or is this your own personal story? So you can answer in here, and we're getting back to the child advocate real quick.
And so there's a lot at stake here.
Governor Sununu's office says withhold.
Okay, just to refresh our memory.
Children who are in foster care or in very expensive residential care, where we're trying to help them. And so there's a lot at stake here.
Governor Sununu's office says withholding vital information that can and should be made public to help aid in the search for Harmony would be a dereliction of duty. In a statement, Sununu's office writes, quote, as required by law, certain discretion was taken to remove personal details not pertinent to finding Harmony. The information that was shared in last week's update was released after consultation with the New Hampshire Department of Justice.
Okay, right there. So the advocate, I get what she's trying to say. I don't know whose side she's on, but they said that before this report was released, the New Hampshire Department of Justice looked through it. So this lady looks a little nuts to me. Sorry.
And O'Neill says she was never presented with the report before its public release. She says the federal government is aware of the report, but right now it's unclear if any action will be taken. Reporting live.
Oh, okay. She hadn't even seen the report. Well, I wouldn't have gone on the news and made those allegations saying that federal money could possibly be withheld, but that's on her, right?
Yeah, I don't really agree with that. I think maybe she's just one of these big picture thinkers, and I don't know. But I think the governor did the right thing here. Confidentiality, I believe in it, but there comes a point where the bigger picture is important, and a kid's been missing for 2 years. I don't know whose confidentiality we're protecting at this point. I don't know.
Well, Jennifer Coffindaffer, she's a retired FBI agent, works with News Nation. She saw this clip from this advocate, and she put this on Twitter. She said, hypocritical. This is why there are confidentiality laws, O'Neill says. It's to protect children and parents and to be able to bring them into the system with trust and to help them be better parents and children be safe. She said, hashtag Harmony Montgomery wasn't safe. She wasn't safe. She wasn't safe. This is about Harmony. This is protecting the other children involved. I don't mean children in their household, and I don't even know where Kayla's children are right now. I have no idea if they're still with grandmother or what's going on, because obviously they're not going to tell anyone. But, and then she's like, well, I haven't even seen the report. And I'm like, but you got on the news.
Yeah, look, that was probably WMUR looking for another angle on this story. I mean, they're trying to cover a case that's like losing steam. And this lady's willing to criticize the governor. There's a news lead. I would take that with a grain of salt. I'm not worried about federal funding. No, this is not your average case. Nobody's giving information, like somebody just said in the chat, nobody's giving information about where Kayla's kids are. I mean, we're saying they're with gram meth, but who says they haven't been removed and put into foster care in Massachusetts? They may have been by now. I don't know. Maybe they're still with her. But that's not out there. We're not putting out random stuff like that. This is strictly information about the timeline of Harmony's disappearance. That's not the same thing. I just disagree with this advocate. And again, I want to think she has good intentions, but more of this crap that just, it's in the way of the main focus, what the main focus should be. Stop worrying about all that. Start worrying about where is Harmony and how can we make sure this doesn't happen again. That starts with legislation on interstate laws. Immediately, Governor Sununu wants to keep doing a good job. Why don't you get a law out there into the House or something? Where's the legislature? Somebody draft a law that anybody that moves from one state to another within the last year they've been in the state, you know, say, we'll just do New England because I only know this area. If their family has had state involvement for a year prior to a move, they have to, for 6 months, check in with the other state. Why do sex offenders have to check in wherever they move? And I'm not saying that that's the same as a family that struggled with different things. But if there is an open case like this and it just closed out, there should be a period of time where you can still monitor it, where what you would be able to do if you were in that state still. But just being able to leave and say, oh, phew, I'm out of there, and just dodge off into another state, and now that state can't do anything. No, there should be like a period of time, a window, 3 years. I'll take 6 months, anything, where they are in connection, like the two states working together, and there's no red tape in between them, like they're working down the hall from each other. Make that law right now, Sununu. We'll risk all the federal funding, and this advocate can go flip out on her own. That would actually make change, and that's something to focus on. Well, law enforcement is focused on Harmony, and Crystal is telling the truth, so we can focus on that. And later we can blame everyone and sue people and do all those fun things. But right now, that's where I feel like we should be focused.
I agree. I think the focus should be 100% behind law enforcement, supporting them to find Harmony. And in the meantime, let the governor's office do what they're doing for child reform. This governor seems very ambitious, and he might get it where it's on a federal level if he makes enough noise. A national database, a national registry, so you don't have to have an interstate compact. We have a case where a woman had 2 children removed from her in Wisconsin. She has 4 more children. 3 of those children have been removed from her, and 1 is a missing child. Now, if there was any kind of interstate anything and they knew what had happened to her 2 children in Wisconsin, the child that she had with her new husband, boyfriend, whatever you want to call him, would not have been allowed to leave the hospital with her. So hopefully this governor wants to make his mark and maybe get some kind of federal registry. I don't know. It seems to me that he means business about this, is what I look at.
Yeah, he's not shy. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't be. He doesn't want to look bad, and no governor does. And this, New Hampshire played a big role in this. Mm-hmm. And he wants to correct that and make that not happen again. So I would imagine he's pretty damn motivated, especially while this is like in the limelight and the whole country's looking at us, to do something. So awesome. Use that and do something. Don't talk about it and just, place blame. Do something right now. Get legislation in there and make a change, even if you can only do it at the state level for now, because New Hampshire's been the first in the country to do many things. Hell, we vote first. Why don't we be the first in the country to say enough? We are going to find a way that in our state, we have a registry that we will share with other states, and we invite other states to join us in this, because this is not okay. And there comes a point where confidentiality is lovely, but it's hurting kids.
Absolutely. And I think it's a great idea. So whatever he plans to pursue, I'm all for it because it benefits children. PJ's Journey. Who's on here because facts are missing? Everything we've had on here is news articles and news clips and a redacted report from the governor's office. As far as where Kayla's children are, we said we don't know. We didn't say they were anywhere else. So what it comes down to is Harmony is missing. Harmony is missing. She has not been seen that we know of since November of 2019. And that is because her biological father, Adam, and stepmeth seem to find her in the way. Okay, PJ's Journey. Kayla's kids were stated at a court trial with Kayla's mom. Okay, good. Well, thank goodness that they have eyes on them and everything like that. Harmony is still missing. And on top of it, you have two governors at a heightened alert about what happened within this family and within the social workers that were reported to go out there. I mean, when a governor calls for an investigation, something's up.
Yeah, and I can't imagine Massachusetts. I'm not worried about Kayla and Adam's kids. There is no way that those kids, trust me, DCOF has been in there. Maybe the house is fine and safe, but they are watching them like hawks. And if it's fine and safe, great. The state wants the kids to stay with family. They do. So I'm not saying that Kayla's kids should be pulled away from grandma or any of that. I don't know any of that situation. I don't know any of these people, period. But just from a bigger picture, DCOF is never trying to just pull kids out. They want to keep them with families where it's safe. The problem is that DCOF can make mistakes, and the problem is things can slip through the cracks, and it's extra likely to happen when you're dealing with more than one state. So if DCOF in Massachusetts, they're going to be at heightened alert, is saying they're safe at Kayla's mom's house, great. But they're getting watched, and that that's being taken care of. There's no way that they're going to make the same mistake twice with all eyes on them. I mean, then again, let's look at the Gabby Petito case and what went on down in Florida. So I don't always trust everything. Let's just put it that way, whether it would be law enforcement, the system, the parents. These guys went into this house and thought it was safe in New Hampshire. So sometimes we're not right, period.
They were there to check out living conditions and a black eye. They saw the living conditions were fine and there was no black eye. They can't make anything up.
Right.
What I'm reading seems to be pretty fluid. It's certainly not perfect. And when it comes right down to it, when we say these people, where I'm going to lean. It's with the wrongdoers.
Well, right. I mean, we're blaming all these people. Do you realize that we never talk about blaming Adam and Kayla? Like we're blaming Crystal. She didn't get loud fast enough. We're blaming the judge in Massachusetts. He put her with Adam. We're blaming New Hampshire for not following through more. Really, who probably did something?
I'm gonna vote on Adam and Kayla. And trust me, that's never off my radar. Matter of fact, since you brought it up, good old Adam had a hearing the other day. If you have time, I know I've kept everybody for a long time. This case makes me so mad. And it's not even on the government level. It's on the family level. You don't see a child, and that goes for Adam, Kayla, Crystal, and everyone involved from November of 2019 to when this became huge at the end of December. So this is his last hearing. Hold on. Hold your horses. So here we have the real victim. On the screen, this is little Harmony.
Harmony's out there somewhere, and she needs to be found.
Harmony Montgomery disappeared back in 2019. Friday morning, there was a court hearing for her father, Adam Montgomery. He is charged with felony second-degree assault for allegedly striking Harmony, 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child and interfering with custody. Adam Montgomery was not present for the hearing, which lasted only minutes. At this point, the state has not offered him a plea deal because the investigation is still ongoing.
There is some discovery, quite a bit of discovery still outstanding, as it's literally being generated on a daily basis.
That means they're working the case hard. That means that that chief of police, what's his name, Alderman? Is that his name, Aaron?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can tell. I mean, this man, he's on the mission of a lifetime. I don't think he cares about all the CPS, or I say CPS, DCYF. That's not his concern. If Crystal told the truth, didn't tell the truth, who has step-meth's kids, I don't think he cares about that. He's on a mission to solve this case and find Harmony.
Yep. Yep.
And when the attorney general is in there, what's it say, deputy attorney general, and he's like, there's new discovery every day. That means they're really working this case. They even said they are not going to give him any kind of plea deal on these charges. And these charges have nothing to do with Harmony's disappearance. So still, he sits in jail, just like Kayla, who still sits in jail for welfare fraud, which is unheard of. They know they've got something. They know they do.
Oh, yeah.
Court, it wants to wait until it's seen the evidence before scheduling a possible trial date. Harmony's case has received national publicity, and there are billboards up with her picture. Still, not everyone is aware of her disappearance.
Police officers encounter these people regularly when they say, we're here about the Harmony case, the missing girl case, and they don't know what the police are talking about.
The Manchester Police Department has received hundreds of tips. So far, none have led to Harmony's whereabouts. But officials hope that by continuing to publicize the case, someone with information will come forward.
Somebody out there knows where she is, somebody out there knows what happened, and that information would be extremely important for
Yes, Adam and Kayla. Adam and Kayla know exactly what happened.
police to know.
Now, the next hearing in this case is scheduled for the end of June. If you have any information about Harmony, you're asked to call the 24-hour tip line. That number is 603-203-6060. Reporting live in Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News Now.
Okay, so end of June, which, hey, that's fine. It brings no resolution to Harmony's case. But I think that they are really, really working hard on this case. Is that the vibe you're getting, Aaron, or am I wrong?
Oh, absolutely. But what I don't understand, and you're going to know this, and I bet other people are wondering this. Like, they're talking about plea deals and charges. A plea deal to what? The beating her up thing or hitting her? What?
The charges that are pending on him right now, they can give him a plea deal and say, look, if you plead guilty to abuse, we'll forget the other ones and you'll get 2 years. They said they're not ready to do that yet because the deputy attorney general was in there saying, we've got new discovery coming
Yeah.
in every day, meaning there's new charges coming down the pike, and they would rather compile all of those.
Oh, hell no. Why would you want no, good. Okay, so New Hampshire law enforcement is really doing a good job then, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's okay, cool. Good. Well, there you go. Good job, New Hampshire. Yeah, no way. Please get out of here. No. I just was like, are they talking about other charges? Like
I believe there's going to be other charges. I still think there's a lot of clues in that backyard. I don't think they would have been so centrally focused back there unless they thought something went down there. Something has brought them back to that house a couple of times. I haven't seen any other searches anywhere else. If you've seen it, let me know. Doesn't mean that I know. It just seems like they are very focused on finding Harmony.
right. And the ground is now mud instead of snow here.
Then you don't be surprised if you don't see another search real fast.
Right. Next week is all going to be like 50s.
There
And
you go.
yeah.
Well, my friend, as always, it has been amazing having you on the show. Your insight and the way you can tell us how this really goes down is, only something that I could Google, guess at, and then mess up.
Oh, I probably mess it up too. I just give you what I've seen and, know, but I don't know every law and I don't know these actual people. And all of this is just my opinion and thoughts based on what I know of the system. But I'm glad to at least be able to see things like, oh, that's a 3-month window. That tells me that case was open. That kind of stuff I can tell you. So that's at least something.
So at least we have that. So I don't really see that they did anything so bad because nobody has a crystal ball and there's no Minority Report, okay, in this country. They wouldn't have been able to see, hey, in a few months after this, I think they're going to do something to her. Now, I think that the frustration was building up, not because of DCYF, but because the heat was on. I believe there was, now that's not in, you have to look at the report to see how many follow-up phone calls and things that they did. What we had on the screen is when they actually went to visit. Something spooked them to the point where they were telling them, you can get Section 8 housing, you can get this, and that. Now, they obviously got the food stamps because that's why Kayla is in jail, because she was collecting them.
Right.
From what? November of 2019 to like June of 2021. It was quite a while. It wasn't like a slip on the mind for a couple months.
Right. And you have to renew those, I think, every 3 months. So she was actively saying that Harmony was in the house.
And that she had eyes on her. I'm very surprised there's not a separate charge. I don't know what it would be, honestly, because she would have to say that she knows where she's at. But then she tells them, he has been telling me that she's with her mother, but she can't explain why she kept receiving the benefits for her. Most states, it's every 6 months. So if he tells Stepmeth that Harmony is now with her mother, that's in November, she was actively recertifying, saying that Harmony was with her. I have a feeling that the questions are specific, as in how many people are in your home.
Right. And I would imagine it would, do you have full custody? All those things. I mean, I don't know. I don't do food stamps, but I've gone with clients to fill them out, and those aren't short forms. And I mean, I know they're done electronically as well, but like when they get those big packets to apply for all kinds of services, that is like a stack. They ask a lot of information. So if you're filling that out every 6 months, like you're checking off a box that says that kid lives with you. I don't know.
And she verified on a government form every month that child lived with her. That's,
Right.
I mean, that's a government form, and she took government money. So, and the thing is, we discussed on another show, we had talked to other social workers who do recertify food stamps. And they said, this is not an uncommon problem when someone moves or custody is changed around, someone gets a job, et cetera, et cetera. It could either be, yeah, I'm going to get my head above the water and keep these. They won't find out. It could be something like that. It could be, they didn't think about it. They don't really want to put anyone in jail for it, because then it disqualifies the benefits for the household for 2 years. So this is a very unusual case that they have Kayla in jail. They're doing this because they believe, and this is just my opinion, that she knows more. I go back to what I think the DA said, the DA or the prosecutor. He said she won't talk because she knows what we're about to find.
Yeah,
That gives me a lot.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I can't believe I ever thought maybe she'll be the one to turn and tell us, but wow, she is.
Well, when they arrested her, I'm like, oh, this is going to be done quick. That shows what I know. I'm like, she's not going to sit there. She's not going to hang herself out to dry for him. She's going to tell him what happened. And here we are. It tells me she's involved one way or another.
No, I agree. I mean, look, even if you just knew about it, it's not the same as being someone who did something. So what the hell if she's not talking? I mean, he's living with another girl in a car, lady. He's not into you.
When I found that out, I'm like, oh, she's going to spill it. I told you that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
He was living in another car. He was living in a car with another woman. And I mean, that would be enough to make any woman psycho. But she's still sitting there. It's a cash bond because they say she's a flight risk. So they know she's involved somehow. I think that they're going to keep on. I think they're going to solve this. Not tomorrow, not next week, but it's moving very fast. It's kind of unusual how fast it's moving. And I love it. I love how fast they're working.
Yeah. Yep. I love it too.
For them. And to also have a governor involved, you're getting state legislation. And this governor seems ambitious. He could be trying to make it federal. I don't know. It's kind of hard for a governor to do, but there are U.S. senators there that if he's good with them and they're good with him, they could push it forward on another level.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just, I hope something happens. This is just 2 years. It's so long. It needs closure. It's awful.
It does need closure. And on that, I'm actually going to close the show. I've kept you, and I know you are a super busy woman, and I appreciate you so much for coming in and helping us with this case, because I think this case is extremely important. I don't think people even realize how important this case is and what a landmark this case is going to wind up being.
I hope so. I'm having trouble with trusting any of this process anymore, but that would be awesome. It really would, because this should not have happened. It just shouldn't have.
No, on any level, from when she was born up until November of 2019.
Yep.
All right, Erin, thank you so much for coming in. And next show we do about Harmony, I will definitely email you in advance and let you know when it's going to be.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Brooks. I hope you have a great day, and thank you to everybody in chat. Bye, guys.
You are the best. Thanks for coming up. I just love her insight, the way she breaks things down for us, and she tells us like what actually happens on the other side. So in closing, with everything going on in this case, it comes down to this. Harmony's life matters. It didn't matter to the right people. True, it didn't. But what is being done at the government level and the attention it's putting out there is going to save other children's lives. The hope is Harmony is found alive and well and is put with a nice family that will take care of her. That's what we really want. And then, of course, in the meantime, this legislation to continue to prevent this. That's what we want. We all know that you don't have to have a license to be a parent, so we can give up on just wishing for perfect parents. That's not going to happen. No one's perfect. Not giving these people any break. I don't give them breaks in any other case. So, speaking of people I never give a break to, we have another show tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central. I'm going to be talking about Candace Hare. Her 2 interviews with WJHL, I was going back through them and there was other things I missed, believe it or not. So I'm going to beat that dead horse again. Thank you, Mod Squad. Thank you, everyone, for being in here. Share this video, like it, sub, do all that, because I'm telling you something right now. Harmony deserves this. She does. This little girl, she deserves all the love, attention, advocacy we can give her. You guys are the best. If you want to join us in Discord, send me an email at cll72020@gmail.com. Don't forget our Facebook page. Lots of people are joining different groups and stuff. That's great. I love to talk to you guys whenever. And remember, 9 a.m. Central tomorrow morning. Had new names in here. Love it. Sub, old names. Love that too. You guys are never old to me. We're only as old as we feel. And today I was feeling pretty old, but you guys always get me through it. All right. You guys are the best. See you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.